guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, I'm going to start going through the probable cause affidavits and criminal complaints of the 4 suspects in the abduction of Michael Joseph Vaughan. This case has been one I have followed since December of 2021. Michael was abducted on July 27th, 2021, and I actually looked back to see when I first started covering Sweet Monkey, and it was December 11th of 2021. Michael and Summer have been close to my heart since I started this channel at the end of 2021. And I yesterday just read a bit of the probable cause affidavit against Stacey Wondra. And like I said in my community post, it made me sick. So I will preface this by saying all of these documents are posted on Monkey's Army's YouTube channel, and I'm going to link to that in the information of this video because the family has made sure that these are available for everyone to read that is interested. I'm just going through them because I have covered this case for almost 4 years, and this sweet boy that I've never met and this sweet family have a deep place in my heart. Yeah. All right, so let's get right to it. Again, just to let you guys know, I'm not going to do this all in one shot. I'm going to go through what I can on this one, and we'll definitely have a couple parts to it. If you would like to do some more discussion, Brooks over at Crime Lines and Lies will be doing some lives the next 3 mornings. So please do come over there. As you guys know, we're friends. So I do videos and she does live streams. So yeah, we have a lot of the same kids and things deep in our hearts, and we want these sweet babies to come home and to get the justice that they deserve. Now again, please do go over to Monkey's Army. I'm going to throw the link up on the screen right here because I know these are going to be very hard to read, but I am going to read them all the way through. And please do go over there, and if you are not already subscribed to that channel, it's one you really want to be subscribed to. It's the family's channel for Michael. Okay, so this is the probable cause affidavit against Stacey Wondra. You can see on the top it says, in the district of the 3rd Judicial District of the state of Idaho, in and for the county of Payette Magistrate Division. In the state of Idaho is the plaintiff, obviously, versus Stacey James Wondra, defendant, detective Juanita Keller, the undersigned, being first duly sworn on oath, deposes and says, I am a peace officer employed by the Fruitland Police Department. The defendant is alleged to have committed the following crimes between the dates of approximately July 27th, 2021 through 2025. 1. First-degree murder. 2. Kidnapping, 2nd degree. 3. Destruction of or concealment of evidence. The crimes were not committed in my presence. I believe there is probable cause to believe the defendant committed such crimes because of the following facts. Note, you must state the source of all information provided below, state what you observed and what you learned from someone else, identifying that person. Okay, now we're going to get into the information here. On July 27th, 2021, neighbors reported seeing a 5-year-old, now these are redacted, but it's stating MJV, so we know that's Michael Joseph Vaughan, between approximately 18:15 and 18:30 hours in the area of Michael's home, in nearby residences on Redacted and South Arizona in Fruitland, Payette County, Idaho. Michael knocked on some of his neighbors' doors, attempting to play with the neighbors or in their yards. Michael was told to return home by all the neighbors he contacted. Now we know that this has been something we've been thinking of in the past 4 years. And as soon as I read this, the first thing that comes out of my mind is, why didn't one of these people walk him to his home, to the door, and make sure one of his older siblings or his father took him inside? But unfortunately, that didn't happen. At approximately 18:45 to 18:50 hours, Tyler Vaughan noticed his 5-year-old son, Michael Joseph Vaughan, was missing from their home located at Redacted in Fruitland, Payette County, Idaho. Tyler began searching his home and property for Michael. Tyler called 911 to report his son missing at approximately 19:21 hours, and the Fruitland Police Department responded to the area. Fruitland Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, along with other local agencies and volunteers, searched for Michael over several weeks and now years. Through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household members have been determined to not have any knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in Michael's disappearance. And I can't say that loud enough. There are still some people out there that still believe the family was involved. I would like to read that again for any of those that might be listening. The family does not have any knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in Michael's disappearance. All of Michael's neighbors on Southwest 9th Street in Arizona have also been thoroughly investigated, searched, and interviewed, and have been determined by law enforcement to not have any knowledge or involvement in Michael's disappearance. The surrounding area was searched extensively, and Michael has never been found. Live Scent Canine Team searched the surrounding areas August 2nd through 2021 using a pair of Michael's shoes for Michael's scent. Out of approximately 300 homes, canine handlers reported the dogs only showed interest in one house located at Redacted in Fruitland. Well, we know that that is Red Wing Street. This is the home of Stacey and Sarah Wondra. A canine handler also reported that Canine Banshee showed interest in the area of the corner of Medlark and Red Wing Street. The canine showed interest at the intersection and then headed straight to the fence and front door of the Wondra's residence. On August 2nd, 2021, Canine Banshee tracked scent down to a tree over the edge of the bluff of Southwest 8th and Three Rivers Way. Canine Banshee was determined to track the scent into the thorny bushes under the tree despite the thorns. A discarded child stroller was located deep in these thorny bushes. On August 5th, 2021, a pink Big Flyer tricycle was located behind the Bluffs sign at Three Rivers Way in Southwest 8th Street. During a search of the same area the day prior, the tricycle was not there. Jim Smith, who lives in the lives in the Three Rivers subdivision, later reported that he had found the tricycle over the bluff under a tree next to a child's stroller. Jim said he took it home to use one of the wheels for another project, but then discarded it after not removing the wheel as planned. Jim said he left it behind the bluff sign for neighborhood kids to see. Kim Elko would later report to law enforcement that she had seen the tricycle in the Wondra's garage during a yard sale in the spring of 2021. Elko was able to describe the layout of the Wondra's garage and where she saw the tricycle on the stack of boxes. The described stack of boxes was still there during a later search warrant of the Wondra's residence and garage. Dorothy Starkey, who was present at Redacted in Fruitland, reported on July 29th, 2021, that she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing Street and Meadowlark Avenue on July 27th as she was either entering or leaving the neighborhood. Dorothy is seen on surveillance videos coming into the neighborhood westbound on Southwest 8th Street at 18:25 hours and left the neighborhood eastbound on Southwest 8th Street at 19:25 hours. Other than Dorothy's report, there are no other reports of Michael being seen anywhere other than Southwest 9th Street and his next-door neighbor's house on Arizona on the date of his disappearance. Video surveillance was gathered from security cameras in the neighborhood Michael disappeared from, as well as the neighboring areas. Michael is never seen on any of the surveillance footage that was obtained. See, this answered that question because I always wondered that myself. Was he ever seen on any of this footage? And that's our answer. Stacey Wondra is captured on surveillance footage driving a white Lexus and pulling into the parking area of the splash pad in the neighborhood off of Southwest 8th Street at 15:23 hours on July 27th, 2021. Stacey is seen exiting the driver's door, walking around to the passenger side of the car, and appears to be testing the exterior door handle to see if it is locked. Stacey then walked back around to the driver's side of the vehicle, where he got into the driver's seat and exited the area onto Southwest 8th Street at 15:24 hours, 1 minute after arriving. Remember, he said to Brooks and other YouTubers when he did his little YouTube tour, "Oh, I pulled over at the splash pad because I dropped, my chew." Seems like it's something more than that, doesn't it? Video surveillance shows an adult male walking in the area of Three Rivers Way at 18:08 hours on July 27th, 2021, and the same male is captured walking in the area of the neighborhood splash pad at 18:18 hours. The last image of the male is captured at 18:28 hours as he walked through the wooded area to the west back toward the area in which the Wondras lived. Brandon Shurtleff was identified in 2022 as being this person and told detectives during an interview that the surveillance video captured him as he was walking and searching for a missing child on the date Michael disappeared. We always thought it was you, Brandon. We really did. And looks like we were right. And you weren't looking for a missing child, Brandon. This video captured Brandon walking prior to Michael being reported missing. Brandon reported he was living with the Wondras on that date. Yeah. On August 1st, 2021, Fruitland police contacted the residents at Redacted in Fruitland. On their initial search of the residence, they located Adrian Lucene hiding in a closet. Residents of the home on that date and on July 27th, 2021 were identified as married couple Stacey and Sarah Wondra and their sublets Brandon Shurtleff and Adrian Lucene. All four were interviewed on August 1st, 2021. Now this part, I had no idea. And I didn't know that how they stated that the dogs led them to their house in 2021. Yeah. I wish something more would have happened at this time, but we don't know. We don't know all of it. This is a lot. This is a portion rather. The probable cause affidavits are enough to get their arrests and get them charged. But there's going to be a lot more to come. Adrian was vague in his statements and wouldn't commit to a solid statement. He also refused to provide his social security number for identification confirmation. He provided Stacey's phone number as his own and concealed his real phone number from law enforcement. Criminals lie and they don't want to tell you anything that's true. And why the hell was he hiding in a closet? On August 21st, 2021, Sarah reported that on July 27th, 2021, she and Stacey slept till noon. Sarah said that they left their residence around 1700 hours to tow a vehicle to Kuna. Sarah and Stacey denied they were home around 1830 hours on July 27th, 2021. Cell phone tower data and surveillance footage show Sarah, Stacey, Adrian, and Brandon were in the area of their neighborhood at the time of Michael's disappearance. What a surprise, huh? Yeah. Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon returned to Fruitland, verified by surveillance, in Sarah's blue Toyota Corolla at 1708 hours, only to leave again at 1712 hours. The Toyota then came back into the neighborhood again at 1756 hours. Surveillance footage shows Sarah driving the maroon GMC pickup on July 27th, 2021 as she drove out of the neighborhood 1908 hours. Stacey has been identified as the front passenger and Brandon was the driver's rear passenger. Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon's phone data show they were co-located as they left the neighborhood at 1908 hours and drove to Kuna, Idaho, otherwise known as where Brandon's mama lives. Adrian's phone did not provide any location data during the evening of July 27, 2021. However, Adrian took a selfie in the guest bathroom at the Wonders residence at 1926 hours. Wondra's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage returning to their Fruitland neighborhood at 2332 hours on July 27, 2021, pulling or towing a silver Mercedes-Benz. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah had a distinct change in behavior. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah began to stand along the highway near Love's gas station in Ontario, Oregon, with signs stating to repent of your sins and that the end of time was near. Sarah's social media posts on TikTok and Facebook also changed drastically to religion and asking for forgiveness of her sins. Prior to Michael's abduction, Sarah had posted only approximately 11 videos on TikTok over 3 years. Following Michael's abduction, Sarah posted approximately 329 videos from September 15th, 2021 through December 24th, 2021. She all of a sudden became an avid TikToker and talking about God and repent. In TikTok videos Sarah posted, Sarah made testimony statements regarding her involvement in criminal behaviors and stated that she had broken all 10 of the 10 commandments. It should be noted that thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments. Sarah also alleged in her videos that it did not matter what sin she had committed because God had forgiven her for all of them. Yeah. Michael's missing person flyer can be seen on her refrigerator in the background in some of her videos. Yeah, we've discussed that a number of times. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on November 15, 2021. Stacey was also interviewed. After being confronted with the photo of her leaving the neighborhood on July 27, 2021, driving the GMC pickup at 1908 hours, Sarah changed her story and said that she was driving the GMC to get Brandon's Mercedes-Benz from Kuna to tow it back to Fruitland. Sarah said the trip to Kuna to get the car had not been previously planned and that it was Stacey who wanted to go get the car at that time and date. Sarah said she'd stopped at Southwest 8th in South Arizona on the way out of the neighborhood to input the address. So this was their made-up story, their cover story, so to speak. Address into the GPS. Sarah said she drove to 2518th North Snowball in Kuna, which is Brandon's mother's home. It is worth noting, Brandon was in the truck with them when they entered the GPS coordinates to go to Brandon's mother's house, and that Sarah and Brandon's cell phone data showed them at the residence earlier that day. Sarah said Brandon's mother, Tina Morell, was out of town. Sarah said Tina did not allow Brandon to have people in her home when she was not there, so Sarah and Stacey parked down the road and Brandon used a back gate on the south side to enter Tina's residence so that her doorbell camera did not capture him there. Sarah reported that while towing the car back to Fruitland, the tow strap broke. I don't think that was the reason that they parked down the street at all. They were trying to avoid further detection by cameras because of what they were doing. And it wasn't because they were just towing a car. Sarah and Stacey Wondra sold their phones, lost or sold their vehicles, and got rid of their furniture shortly after Michael went missing. Sarah was asked about changing her phones following Michael's abduction. Sarah provided 2 reasons. Sarah said they sold their phones because she and Stacey were splitting up, and Sarah said that they sold their phones because a demon told her to. Yeah. Sarah was still paying on the phones that she sold. Sarah was asked about her Facebook posts and provided the following responses. I literally had like a demon tell me that I need to leave my husband. I literally deleted all of my pictures. I have no idea of what my passwords are. We had a fight. My husband and I had to sell our phones, and we had to get new phones, and I can't access any of my stuff. So I do have Facebook, just don't have access to it right now. When asked about the vehicles Sarah and Stacey have, Sarah said the GMC pickup was repossessed. Sarah said she told Stacey when they heard the repo guys were coming to take the truck, we're going to be the nicest repo they ever had today. Law enforcement was later told that the truck appeared to have been thoroughly cleaned prior to the repo. Yeah, because don't they look like the type who is highly, detailed, cleanly, and all that clean? The Wondras? I don't think so. Following the interview on November 15th, 2021, Brandon reported Sarah and Stacey contacted him and told him that they were re-interviewed about Michael's abduction. Brandon said Stacey suggested Brandon come over to their place and create an alibi or write a letter on behalf of Sarah and Stacey saying that they were not involved in Michael's abduction. Tina Morell, Brandon's shirtless mother, was interviewed by law enforcement. Tina reported that Brandon's behavior changed after he lived with the Wondras. Tina explained that Brandon became more depressed and withdrawn, spending more time playing video games and smoking marijuana. Tina would not tell law enforcement where Brandon was or what his phone number was at that time. God forbid she helped law enforcement with her finding her baby boy. Really. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, was interviewed and shown a picture of the tricycle described above. Kay claimed that she found the tricycle in some bushes prior to Michael's abduction. The bushes that Kay described are near where Mr. Schmidt found the tricycle just after Michael's abduction. Kay said that would be the reason her DNA would be on the tricycle. Kay said that after all that effort, she left it at an intersection of Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th Street. Kay was 73 years old in July of 2021, and the bushes were very difficult to get to. That's an important piece of information right there. Kay Ramsey also confirmed to law enforcement that Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug holes in the backyard of the Red Wing residence. Kay reported the dog had dug up what she later determined to be the ear of a green stuffed animal. Kay said she had thrown away the stuffed ear. Kay Ramsey is alleged to have withheld information and or evidence in other criminal investigations involving Sarah in 2022. Then Kay initially concealed a firearm used in an aggravated assault in which Sarah was later convicted. When law enforcement met with Sarah on October 12, 2022, Sarah said God told her he was going to help her find the boy. During the interview, the first mention of Michael, Sarah became emotional and broke down crying in front of the detective. Sarah wrote a testimony and said that if law enforcement read it, they would locate Michael. Sarah suggested God had forgiven Hitler for his sins, that God had redeemed Sarah for her sins. Yeah. Christy Cooch told detectives prior to Sarah's arrest in April of 2022, she made a statement about Stacey being involved in the abduction of a 5-year-old boy. Christy said she made personal notes in their conversation. In June of 2022, there was a recorded jail phone call between Sarah and Christy, where Sarah advised Stacey had been arrested. Christy asked if he had been charged with the kidnapping of a 5-year-old boy. Sarah recanted her prior statements, claiming that Christy misunderstood her prior comments. Also mentioned how Sarah's dog was digging large holes in the backyard. On November 5th, 2022, at 0:55 hours, Stacey contacted Fruitland Police and requested an interview at the Washington County Jail. Stacey provided vague details about events surrounding Michael's abduction. Stacey said Sarah's religious beliefs and behavior changes started within a couple of days after Michael's abduction. After Stacey's arrest for an unrelated incident, Stacey spoke of changing phones and or SIM cards to prevent law enforcement to follow or profile him. On November 10th, 2022, Stacey again asked to speak with Fruitland police detectives. Stacey wanted a deal, the same offer that was given to Sarah in the Michael Vaughan case. Stacey admitted Michael had been in the house the night of Michael's abduction. Stacey admitted the tricycle had been in his garage where Kim Elko had previously described seeing it. Stacey then said that when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Stacey said Michael was put into a duffel bag to transport him out of their house and to Brandon's house in Kuna. Stacey said Sarah was frantic, trying to figure out what to do, and Brandon interjected, "I have a duffel bag." Stacey described Michael as crying, and to prevent him from moving or making noise, Stacey described how Sarah taped Michael using duct tape. When asked to put Michael in the bag, Stacey said Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrian helped hold the sides of the bag open as they shoved Michael into the duffel bag. Stacey described Michael was wiggling, trying to get away. Sarah said he could see Michael in the bag with his knees bent up in the fetal position. While describing and demonstrating how Michael was taped and stuffed into a duffel bag in his living room. Stacey had a physical reaction and began violently vomiting. Yeah. When asked if he was vomiting because of the chewing tobacco he was using, he indicated he was throwing up because of the stress of talking about Michael. Stacey provided 2 reasons they stopped in the GMC at the corner of Southwest 8th Street and South Arizona in Fruitland. 1, for Stacey to put power steering fluid into the vehicle, and 2, so Brandon could check to see to see if Michael was still alive because Michael was bound with duct tape and stuffed into a duffel bag in the bed of the truck. Stacey said he was able to hear Michael making noises like a dull scream. Stacey said they were worried about being seen because they saw a car parked off of South Arizona. Stacey said they drove straight to Brandon's mother's house in Kuna, Idaho, where Brandon grabbed both bags, the duffel bag containing Michael in a backpack, and went into the house by himself. Stacey said that once they arrived in Kuna, Michael was not making any more noises, and none of them had checked on Michael to verify that he was still alive. Stacey said that Brandon told him he left Michael in the bag and put him in a spare room inside of his mother's house. They then towed Brandon's car back to Fruitland. Stacey said that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian went to Kuna the next day to get Michael. The three of them brought Michael's body back to their house in Fruitland. He said that he was inside, Brandon was on guard, and Sarah and Adrian dug the hole together. All right, and here is the criminal complaint against Stacey. District Court of the 3rd Judicial District of the State of Idaho in and for the County of Payette, State of Idaho, plaintiff versus Stacey James Wondra, date of birth 9/12/1992. The State of Idaho, County of Payette. Personally appeared before me this 11th day of June 2025, Michael Duke of the Payette County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, who, being duly sworn, complains that the defendant, Stacey James Wondra, on or about the 27th day of July 2021, in the County of Payette, State of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder MV, a human being, and or did willfully, unlawfully, and deliberately kill and murder MV, a human being, in the perpetration of or in the attempted perpetration of a kidnapping. All of which is contrary to Idaho Code sections, all the numbers are there, and against the power, peace, and dignity of the State of Idaho. Count 2, Part 1, that the defendant, Stacey James Wondra, on or about the 27th day of July 2021, in the County of Payette, State of Idaho, did willfully and without lawful authority seize and or confine or lead and or take or entice away MV with the intent to cause him to be secretly confined and or imprisoned and or detained against his will within the State of Idaho, all of which is contrary to Idaho Code and against the power, peace, and dignity of the State of Idaho. Count 3, Part 1, that the defendant, Stacey James Wondra, on or before the 27th day of July 2021 on the 21st day of May 2025 in the County of Payette and or State of Idaho did willfully destroy and or alter and or conceal a thing, to wit a body and or DNA evidence, knowing that the thing or things were about to be produced or discovered as evidence in a felony investigation or inquiry authorized by law, and with the intent to prevent such evidence from being produced, used, or discovered, all of which is contrary to Idaho Code and against the power, peace, and dignity of the State of Idaho. And issuing a check with insufficient funds is on here as well. It looks like on or before the 4th day of June 2020 under the name of Stacey James Wondra. The defendant was convicted of a felony of issuing a check with insufficient funds in the county of Canyon, state of Idaho. False statement during firearms transaction on or before the 4th day of April 2029 under the name Stacey James Wondra. The defendant was convicted of the felony of false statement during firearms transaction in the federal court for the state of Montana, all of which is contrary to Idaho Code against the power, peace, and dignity of the state of Idaho. Alright, so I'm going to just stop there because I don't know if I can go through Sarah's right now. Like I said, this is a hard one, guys. It really is, and my heart goes out to Brandy, Tyler, the entire family. So I will say that as awful, and this is awful, guys. This is awful. That through all of this, justice is coming. It has been way too long. And Michael, while I look at your sweet face on the screen, I just can't fathom how anyone could hurt someone, could hurt him. It breaks my heart. It truly does. Alright, guys. I don't have a lot else I can say really at this point. So I hope you have a good rest of the day. Hug your family tight.